We're going live right now. We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Always Bookin Comedy. It's Monday night. We got Dan Lewis,
Hello.
all the way from the Bay Area. Is that right?
That's right. Oakland. I live in Oakland.
Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland. Amazing. What's going on? How's 2025 treating you?
Pretty good so far. Some pretty good shows. It's been hot and cold, like a couple of great shows, and then a few days with like nothing, and then one good show. So it's been a little less consistent, but kind of higher highs so far.
Nice. Tell us about a high.
I had a couple of I'm not as used to the theaters. I've had a couple of these kind of theatery shows recently,
Whoa.
kind of like a smaller size, like I don't know, 200. I did one the other day in Pleasanton. Maybe it was maybe 250 people. I hosted a show there. And it was
Holy
just really
cow.
fun. So like more like theater type stuff like that,
How'd that
And
come about?
these are the guys that have been booking Best of SF comedy for a long time. I don't know if you know Christopher John, but yeah, he's an old comic. People haven't seen him around for a long time. Very funny guy, but I got on good with those guys a while ago by just like offering to when they needed someone to work the door and wasn't even going to give them a set except for once in a while. And I did that kind of like really entry level thing a few years ago. And I sort of slowly worked up with those guys where now they book me and it's good.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. How long you
Yeah.
been doing comedy?
Coming up on my 6 years here next month.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Started in Oakland?
I started. I mean, I've lived in Oakland pretty much the whole time I've been out here. But my first open mic, I remember it very well, was in San Francisco at a place. I
Okay.
used to work in the city, so I would just often just walk
Mm.
to the mics, uh, even if it was like a couple miles away. I would just start walking, and while I was walking, I'd repeat my jokes in my head or whatever. But this was Mission Hill Saloon in the Mission, February 25th. I remember
I
very
might have
well.
done that. Was there a Pac-Man game, Miss Pac-Man? Does that ring a bell?
Uh,
And a
that
skeleton?
I remember more the just ringing in my ears, and the sheer terror more so than I can't remember if there was a Pac-Man game.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Um, why did you head to that mic? What was the impetus?
I kind of picked one at random. It was just I thought that's good enough. It's late. It was like a 9:45 mic or something like that. 10 o'clock it started,
Hmm.
and I guess I've been doing sketch comedy for a little while before that, and I wanted to. I've always wanted to try stand up, so I just took me like 20 years to start. Basically, started about 20 years too late.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's no
Um,
hope for me.
I know there might be. There might be. You're doing theaters, 200 people. Holy
Yeah,
cow,
that's not bad. I got to
that's
say,
incredible.
it's been nice.
Who
Yeah.
was on was there a big headliner on that show?
These are more just like a showcase style show that these
Okay.
Best of SF guys run, but they do have. It was Daoud was on the show. Daoud Neymar. I don't know if you know him.
No.
Neymar. Never say his name right. But he's kind of a bigger comic, so he was already a big comic when I started. But yeah, he was kind of like the headliner of the show.
Nice.
So, but it's more. It's like 15 minutes. It's nothing like the kind of headline weekend shows or anything like that.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
How was it any different performing for 250 people than an open mic or a smaller show?
Well, well, you know what? It is different, and it's it's hard to. I have enough experience with it now where I've learned to slow down a lot. I think generally in those situations, slow down, let the laughs kind of roll a little bit more over the crowd. It's like you kind of have to. You can be really deliberate in the way you do things. I noticed, and I've got as I've learned that the confidence pays off. So the more confident I am, I can kind of just like make my jokes and feel very confident about it and just let it go and then wait for it to calm down, Not that I'm like crushing with it. It was a host set. It was really good for a host set, but it was a host set.
Nice.
So
That's amazing. Okay, so you started at Mission Hill Saloon open mic. Did you grind for a while? Were you doing like a
oh my
mic a night
gosh,
or?
totally. I remember I was I just bombed so hard, and I had these jokes worked out, but I just didn't. I don't know what I'm doing, and I bombed so hard, and I just thought there has to be, what is the trick here? There's got to be some trick. I know that these things are going to be, they're funny things, but how do you sell that? And I could not wait to try it again so I could see
Mhm.
what do we, it's like a puzzle in a way. So I went back the very next day. I was just really horrible for a while. I think I was
Yeah.
really
What if you could go back and give yourself a couple pointers? Is there anything you could tell yourself other than just put in the time and keep going?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, put the time. There's no replacement for just the repetition and the time and all that stuff, obviously. But I think what I'd say is, I look back at my notes and stuff like that. I've not gotten any funnier as a person. It's just so if you trust the idea, you can make it work. If it's a funny idea to you, I would tell myself to trust myself and be like, you just work it out. Just keep churning through the idea. You'll be able to explain to people why it's funny to you.
Huh.
I think I used to just try them for a few times and then be like, well, that's not going to work. And then just shove them aside. But I would
Mm.
never do that now. If I think something's going to work pretty good, I'll just work it until it does. It's more of more of a work related thing and not inspiration
Like
necessarily.
putting in the time. Yeah,
That's right.
putting
Yeah,
in the
for me,
effort.
that's what it is. Some people come out, it's weird. They come out. I've met somebody, who's that? Tammy T?
No.
We probably started around the same time. She's like me and older. She's 54, I want to say. But her first time, I think her first time ever doing comedy was she opened for Monique. Like that was for her first time. I don't know how this happened, but she has this whole story about it. But I could see meeting her, some people are just almost like they're fully formed already. Like they just
Huh.
have they just take the personality they have, they put it on stage, they translate it, and it works. For
Yeah.
me, I'm just a stiff as a bored guy, just repeating lines. I had to learn all that stuff, come up with a way to be hopefully to be likable. So anyway,
Yeah. Okay, so how did you go from that to dead ass comedy?
dead ass, like a few shows that I've maybe booked, maybe consistently, maybe 5 or 6 shows over my time doing comedy. And the last few, the ones that I have now are all shows that I fortunately inherited from people. Or they brought me on. This last one, dead ass. I don't know if you know Jeff Dean and Devontre Coleman
I know both of
asked
them.
me
Yeah.
we need another person. They thought I'd live nearby, and they immediately left. They brought me on, and then within a couple of months, we're moving to LA. I was like, all right, so it's like kind of just my show now, I guess. And I get really lucky with these. And that
Yeah.
show's great because you want to talk about luck, is that most of the crowd is barked in every single time. It's like prime barking conditions because
Okay.
it's like there's
Because of
this really popular
location.
burger joint
Okay.
right in front of it, and they share the space with the brewery. And so you just tell people who are going to get burgers, we have this show in the back.
Mm.
My hope is to make it way better than they expect it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So far, so good. So just about every time we do it, we're getting 20, 30 people right off the bat, just talking them into the show. So
Amazing.
it's great.
It's outdoors, kind of covered, kind of outdoors.
Patio covered, but right now, and we wondered, like, what are we going to do in the winter? But we've built up steam. If anything, that's been perfectly fine, even in the cold. We moved it up. We moved it up to 7:30, so from 8 o'clock, just because of the time change plus the cold, dinner time, all that stuff. We moved it, and then so I've spent like 3 weeks finding places where it says 8 o'clock and having to change it. Like
Yeah.
somebody tells me, "Oh, you didn't change the Eventbrite," and I haven't changed the poster, I haven't changed the things. It's like 8 different things, but
Right.
it's working better. It's really good. You did the show.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a fun show. It was great. It was
Yeah,
terrific. I was really
it's
impressed.
good. It's really good. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I was out that night. Right, I was somewhere
Mm.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about the very first show you ran. Like,
The very first show was, man, I got so lucky. I met these guys. I feel like I get really lucky with stuff like this. I met these guys at the beginning, my friends Jacob McHenry and Ryan Schooley. And this was like the first people that even really talked to me. This was like a couple, maybe a month in. So we started usually you find a couple people to go around to open mics with and just like kind of get used to things. And one of them, this guy, Ryan, was more experienced, and he knew, he's like, the way to do it is you got to start a show. That's the best way to get stage time and the best way to meet people and network and all that stuff. And so he really got
Do
the
you
ball
agree with
rolling.
that now that
Yeah.
you're more seasoned?
I think starting a show is definitely the way to go. I mean, you have to be reasonable, I suppose. You have to feel like you do have some ability to, like, I don't even know if that matters. I just think if you're booking a show, you're gonna have an opportunity to get better faster and learn things and meet people. And of course, there's this kind of unspoken quid pro quo that goes on with booking that is unavoidable. As much as I don't love it, it's kind of just unavoidable. And he was totally right. It was a place called Legionnaire upstairs. I wish they would let us come back. The guy remodeled it and never talked to us again. But it is the greatest room. It's perfect. I would love to have it back.
Amazing. Did it go great from the beginning?
Right from the beginning, it's like I'm open micing. This is July, so I started February, July. that many months.
Your first year.
First year, this guy got me into this, and
Amazing.
I wouldn't have to do. It's like I knew my limitations. I didn't say I'm gonna do 12 minutes. I would. What's that?
Would you host these shows?
We would book hosts back then. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know about that. Now I host whenever I can. I host my own shows. Okay. I never book hosts unless I have some kind of time related reason or something. But I would give myself 6 minutes. Not because I knew I'm like, I don't have 10 minutes of jokes yet.
Right.
Live. So I forgot what I was going to say, but I don't know.
Okay. We got a question online from North Carolina. Any thoughts on how to get a venue to host? Not the host, like the opening act, but to have you. How do you get in?
I mean, I think the times that I have kind of, you just I know that people get stuff by walking, just walking it, just going in and seeing different bars and places and saying, like, they have a nice space, offering to say, hey, like, I think we can bring people in here. Let's give it a shot. I guess just sheer persistence, I'd have to say. I mean, there's just, I guess I've got
ABC, always be closing.
Always be, what's the C in that one? Always be, I don't know.
Convincing a venue owner to have you for a comedy show.
Right. Always be cramming for shows. I don't know. But like I said, I've gotten lucky. And one of those shows I inherited is at a Russian bathhouse called Archimedes Banya. And I booked this with Marcus Howard. I'm not sure if you know Marcus Howard, but it's a Russian bathhouse monthly show. Everyone's in robes. You get a day pass at the bathhouse, and it's just like half the crowd sometimes is just Russian guys, so you don't kind of know how that's going to go. But the way I got that one was I inherited that one from another guy who met the bathhouse owner on like a dating app, like dated her. It didn't work out, but she was the manager of a Russian bathhouse, and he's a comedian. He's like, hey, get us. And then they set up a show. And then I inherited it.
Is it in like a dry event room, or is it just in the middle of what?
No, like the Banya is like this. It's like clothing optional, kind of unisex Banya place. But then there's like upstairs the cafeteria. It's in the cafeteria, where they serve like blintzes and stuff and borscht.
Do you bring equipment in, or are they?
They have. It's all set up there. Wow. It's really kind of a thrown together thing each time. It's just like there's a big speaker net. You turn the TV off. It's really bright in there, so that kind of makes it rough. I'm thinking about I should probably fix that. But people have beers. That's where they go, and the crowd's in robes. All the comics are in robes, and we just do this crazy set. And sometimes it's pretty much a kind of a nightmare, and other times it's amazing.
That's incredible. I guess that kind of probably answers where's the craziest place you've done comedy. You got a second place?
I've done comedy, not just
or run a show or been on a show.
I did. Oh man, there's a bunch of them, but the bathhouse is pretty sweet. I go there like 4 p.m. and I soak for 2 hours, do a cold plunge. But I did one time. The guy I used to do I was like in this club, the Alameda Comedy Club. They've closed. They're under new ownership soon, I think. I don't know if they're closing or not, but they might be defunct. But this was like the first club I got like passed at and stuff. And the guy that ran it said, "Do you want to do Little League opening day in Alameda?" Which is this. I don't know if you know Alameda. It's kind of, it's kind of a residential-y kind of place in Oakland. It's an island just off of Oakland. It's very residential and kind of quaint by comparison. But he's like, "You want to do Little League opening day?" They just wanted to, they since we're sponsoring one of the teams, the Alameda Comedy Club, we thought we'd bring a comedian to like do 5 minutes, and I wrote these jokes for it. Stomper was there from the A's, like the A's mascot was there, the elephant. And it's like they had this big parade, and then they had me on. But he told me, he's like, "Oh, 11, be there at 11:30." I go there at 11:30, and he's like, "Oh, the parade hasn't, like, you're at the end, right? Like the parade hasn't even started yet." It's like you wanted me to come here for 2 hours to watch a Little League parade? Just tell me when 5 minutes I'm supposed to go up, and then tell me to be there 20 minutes before that or whatever. But it was funny. I watched this whole parade. These little kids, everyone's tired. The families are all they're 1,000 feet away. There's like 1,000 people, but it's like they're so far. They're half a football field away, and they're trying to like gather their kids after the parade and get them going. And that's when I'm doing my 5 minutes of jokes. And the mayor of Alameda was there, so I wrote jokes about that.
Nice. That's incredible.
Had a good
Let's
time.
talk about the International San Francisco Comedy Competition.
Oh yeah. That's I'm kind of helping out with those. I helped out last year because I got laid off last year. So they were like, "Hey, well, I was taking anything that could bring some money in." So they were like, "Come help us out. You just make sure the comics know where to go. Help us administer the competition, and we'll pay you per show." But I had been in the competition the year before and done decently. I didn't make it. I almost made it to the semis, but I missed it, I think, by a little bit. And it was nice. Yeah. It was a good experience. It's incredible. Have you ever done that?
I haven't done it. I went to a single show this last year. Devontre was in it, and I was there supporting.
The Biscuits and Blues show, right?
Yeah.
That was, as far as crowds go and everything, easily the worst show in terms of the.
Well, I heard some of them had 1,000 people at it. Why don't you back up and just there's a long storied history. Why don't you give the whole pitch of what to people who don't know what it is?
Oh, San Francisco International Comedy Competition, now affiliated with the Seattle competition as well, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
They run both competitions.
Okay.
This was started by the guy John Fox, who I think started the Punchline originally, the San Francisco Punchline. But there's some sort of schism there or something, and then I don't know the history. But then he started it, I want to say 76, 77 or something. So it's 40 some years. It's 48th was this last one, I think, I want to say. And first couple of years was like, I think Dana Carvey won one of the first few or something. It's like, it's usually pretty big. And on the website, SFCC, San Francisco Comedy Competition website, you can look up the past winners. It's really fun because you're just spotted with all these people that are since became famous. But yeah, they have it's like 2 sets of 16, 2 heats, I guess, of 16, and you do like 4 or 5 shows in one weekend. And it's all big, it's really nice, big shows, packed out, usually theaters, places like that. And then the top 5 of each of those 16 move on to the semis. So that 10 gets whittled down to 5 for the finals, and then that's the finals. And the finals are always amazing comics. Really incredible.
And the shows are at different venues?
Every single one of these shows is at different venues, and one of them is the Luther Burbank Center in Santa Rosa, which I never seen anything like this. Like, my friends are performing at this thing. It's 1,600 people, and it was completely sold out. And I'm sitting there like with the timer.
Do both heats get to do that, or is that during the semifinals?
This is during the semis.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not even in the finals. The finals the shows get a little smaller. Just because that's I think it just depends on the venue when they have availability or something. But that is a massive. I couldn't believe. I was so proud of my friends. I saw a couple of people that I'm pretty close with that made it to the semis. That, like, I love their jokes. I've been watching them develop them for 3 or 4 years or whatever, 3 years, and then they're doing them, and then 1,600 people are just exploding. I was just like, "This is the greatest." I wasn't even in it. I
Yeah.
should have been pissed.
That's amazing. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And how long is the competition?
Close to a month. I
Wow,
would
that's crazy.
say, 3.5 weeks,
Yeah,
and
when
it's
I did
pretty grueling.
that dead ass show of yours,
Mhm.
I went with a comic who had been in it, and she was there from Barcelona. She just moved to San Francisco for a month.
Oh, yeah, Irene Sango, right?
Yeah,
She was Barcelona. She was so cool, so funny.
yeah,
She's only been doing comedy for, I wanna say 2 or 3 years.
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, kind of amazing.
Yeah, really good scene in Barcelona, apparently.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, Michelle Wolf lives there, and they have,
Michelle Wolf
like
lives in Barcelona? I didn't know that.
yeah, apparently, yeah.
That sounds
And
great.
what's
Maybe I
funny
should.
is that would it have been the night after? I think the night after I performed there, I saw Michelle Wolf at Comedy Works in Denver. It was really
Oh,
wild.
really?
I was talking to Irene about Michelle Wolf, and then I got back, and that's who was performing. I was like, "Oh, I gotta go see her." And
Oh
her
my god.
opener was somebody that she open mics with in Barcelona.
Oh,
So
wow.
she talked a lot about her, and then I got to see her on stage, so
Oh,
that was pretty
incredible.
neat.
I had no idea. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So you
yeah.
performed there,
Yeah,
Barcelona.
and they have a lot of English language comedy out in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah, I've heard
performs in
that.
Spanish and English, but and why is it called I mean, obviously Irene's international, but is it are like half the comedians international? Why is that just
That's a great
to
question.
sound cool?
Yeah, maybe it's to SFCC is San Francisco Comedy College also. Maybe it's to differentiate from the, San Francisco Comedy College. But, yeah, I don't know, maybe just because, yeah, they get we had a guy, it was one guy from Germany, uh, there was Irene, of course, and then I think that, just they get the official designation.
Who won the year you did it?
Gary Anderson, Gary Michael Anderson won that year. He wasn't
And
in my 16, so I didn't get to see him really much.
do people go back? Like
Yeah, they do. Some of the people they had done it a few times. I think usually people wait, but I don't think it's uncommon for someone to do it twice within a few years.
okay,
I figured when I tried it, like I didn't want to like just be at the bottom. I didn't want to be like I don't belong here. That's my
right,
entire goal was like I'm in the middle,
sure.
and which is essentially where I
And how do you get
finished. So
in? You send a submission tape
I don't.
and
There's
apply, or is
yeah,
it like
people
they
submit.
select you?
I genuinely do not know how many of the people were just from submissions, but I
Okay,
think there's a fair amount of word of mouth too. Like if they hear enough about somebody who's doing well and someone maybe say, here's a few guys or a few people that will do really well. So I think some of it is I didn't apply for it even.
uh,
They just asked me to audition. You do an audition, which is fun. I mean, they pay you to do like the Crow's Nest in Santa Cruz or one of these restaurants. And I did like 20 minutes for the audition to see if I could be in it so that I could do 5 minutes.
huh,
Yeah.
nice. What's the biggest, by capacity show that you run?
That I run or,
Yeah, that you run.
I'm trying to think of I suppose if we just filled dead ass out completely, it'd be like 50 people. I don't really
Okay.
have
Yeah, yeah,
big
it's about that
shows.
size.
I used to have a show in this behind this wine shop in Berkeley that a friend of mine ran the wine shop. So he was like, "Sure, you can have it." During COVID, we had it in the back alley, but you were able to get 100 in there, no problem, and
Huh,
100 showed every single time. It was an
wow.
amazing show, but yeah, just mostly small shows, bar shows, bathhouses.
Yeah, that's amazing. So cool.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, got any goals coming up?
Goals. That's a good one. I was gonna try to just be more online. I think this is what everybody always talks about, but I just haven't been good about finding clips that I like and getting them on there. I'm never
Just
happy
tell
with the
everybody
clips.
just tell everybody you spent all your time prepping for TikTok. You were really gonna launch on TikTok,
So
and,
TikTok was going to be my big thing. I was going to do it on the 21st of January. I was going to do it the day after inauguration day, but
you
I
have
haven't.
all these clips ready to go.
I have all these clips ready. They're TikTok ready. They're fast for the kids.
Yeah.
But they were, yeah, I don't know. I got it. What's that? That's a great God. Why don't I have more goals? That's terrible. I should have.
Well, maybe because you're executing, you're doing it. You're
I
already
am doing. I'm doing
you're
well
at
with
like you're high,
it.
getting more
I'm
shows,
already.
being
Yeah, I
in
already.
front of
I
more
didn't think I'd.
people.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd make it this far anyway. But I think. No, I don't know. Just
What's a
try
new
and see.
joke you're excited about? Just you don't
Oh,
tell the
new
joke, but like,
joke.
what's it about?
I had this joke that I wanted to do years ago about. This is never gonna work. I had this joke about how someone said I was my own worst enemy,
Okay.
and I was like that. I don't like that because it makes me feel like I like more impressive people have they have more impressive enemies, right? Like there's
That's funny. I like that.
like if you told Batman he was his own worst enemy, he'd be like, maybe, but like not, the
Right.
Joker or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. But and some goes on like that, and then it goes off into this weird. I really want to do weirder jokes in the future if I can get away with it. And
Yeah.
it goes off into this weird tangent, and that's like a white whale for me. Get the first joke off, make it funny,
Yeah.
and then have it just kind of go off into strange territory that's funny in a different way. And
Right.
that's something I'm excited about. And I had a joke I was excited about, which involves it ends up talking about if you people burning in a fire.
Okay.
That's what part of the end of the joke, and I had to stop doing it because of
Oh yeah, it
they
became
have
too
all these
real.
fires. I'm like, I can't
Sure.
mention. No, I can't. I'm gonna have to wait 6 months to bring this thing
Yeah.
back out.
Yeah. The
But
own
it's
worst
just,
enemy thing, funny angle would be self-improvement. Like you're real anti self-improvement because you don't want your enemy to get any stronger. And
yeah,
your
right,
enemy is
exactly
you.
right.
You don't want
I don't want to add
I can't
fuel.
do push-ups, guys. If I do push-ups, my enemy is just gonna be tougher.
Yeah, right. It's just a race to the top or a race, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm
that's good.
basically
Yeah,
falling apart
self-improvement.
so that my enemy gets weaker. I'm
Yeah,
unraveling right now.
my whole life is gonna unravel. Like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a loser if I'm your worst enemy, basically. That's
That's
another good way to put
hilarious.
it.
Okay, awesome. Let me ask a quick selfish question. I'm coming out to San Francisco in a little bit, Bay Area. Early in the week shows. What are the best like Monday, Tuesday kind of shows? Does that thing exist?
Monday, Tuesday, it does. It also depends on how far you want to go. But
Okay.
there's
Probably
a
close to the
show,
city. I don't think I'll have a car. Although in the past I've been able to like hitch rides with people or take
and
the
you're
BART.
staying in the city.
Yeah, yeah, in the city.
Uh, Mirthquake. There's a show, long running show on Monday nights at the Abbey Tavern, and called Mirthquake. It's really
Okay.
really fun. Um, it's a fun atmosphere. It's really a cool show. They do some kind of different creative things. You pull a thing out of a bucket, and it's very loose and fun. Love
Okay.
those guys. Monday. What's Tuesday? I know there's Tuesday shows. What the heck? Oh, Monday. Oh, there's another one at this place, Drake's in Oakland on Mondays. Not tough to
Okay.
get to from Bart, by the way.
Okay, nice. That's perfect. That's
Drake's,
easy.
and I could tell you who to hit up for these shows.
Okay.
That's been a pretty decent show in general. Oh gosh, I'm looking at my calendar now, and it's Drake's I did. Oh, that's my sorry.
That's okay.
Neil Hamburger was my ringtone. Yeah. Those
That's
are good
okay.
shows.
That was a good answer. I just want to remind the people watching online, if you want to ask a question, this is live right now. Well, I guess if you're watching it in the future, it's not live, but I think if there's a chat window, you can type in a question. This is a real like time machine kind of confusing thing. But to me right now, if you type a question in, it is live. But if you're watching this in 6 months, it's going to
Don't
seem
type the
like I think
question
it's
in.
live, but it isn't. I don't know. Anyways, we do have one question from the internet and we're about to wrap up. So
Okay.
if you're on the internet watching right now, ask a question quick before we get out of here. Is your scene, so San Francisco scene, is it tight knit and friendly or more competitive?
I feel this is a matter of perspective. I feel like it's generally tight knit and friendly. And then you go somewhere else and you talk about the scene a little bit, and people find your stories to be sound competitive.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's if you're in a
Sure.
different scene. When I was in Detroit, it was like they're like, wow, it's pretty cutthroat, telling the stories about it, because they're kind of going to one open mic on a Thursday and all hanging out there all night versus just running around. So like,
Right.
I find it honestly both. It's competitive and it's tightly knit. I like most of the people on the scene are pretty cool. generally speaking, I think.
Rad. I think in general, the Bay Area is a competitive place. You know, it's hard to make rent. It's hard to
Yeah,
everything. You got
that's what I
kind of like
gather.
pretty type A people out there.
Yep.
We got a
Yeah,
nice
that's
thank
true.
you. All right. Well, yeah, that's about it. We're gonna wrap it up. Dan, how do people find you? Your online
Oh,
goal. How are people reaching?
at my online goal at Daniel Lewis Comedy, where you hopefully find some new clips pretty soon. At Daniel Lewis Comedy on Instagram, and I don't know, check out Deadass Comedy.
It's a great show, and the burger was terrific.
Oh, it is
So
a great
go
burger, isn't it? And come
get
back out
some
and do
good
it
food
too.
and watch and get some good jokes. Thanks so much for your time, Dan. Stick around for a second. Everybody else, you can tune in every Monday to Always Bookin Comedy. We've got a huge back catalog, bunch of great Bay Area comics in there, bunch of San Francisco international comedy competition folks. So check those out, and we'll see you next time.